Hey guys and gals, it's Trevor again. So in my last video, I painted 16 new Genestealers. And you know what that means. It's time to name 16 new Tyranids. Now, a lot of people ask me why I waste my time naming my minis, and I am more than happy to explain. So, first of all is intimidation. You show up to a game with your army, especially if it's an army with a lot of models, Tyranids, and every single model in your army is named. Everyone there is gonna know that you mean some serious business. And meanwhile, on the other side of the table, you've got some Space Marines player with his custom chapter. Oh my god, I'm so special because I painted my Ultramarines purple instead of blue. And you ask him what the name of his Space Marine sergeant is, but he doesn't know because he never bothered to name his models. And you quietly but noticeably scoff at his army. And then he probably proceeds to destroy your army in like 2 turns, but hey, intimidation. And more importantly, naming your models helps you to develop a closer bond with them. Like, am I gonna care about Termagant number 22 who just got taken out by some idiot commissar's bolt pistol? No. But will I care about the Master Chief who died trying to protect his Tyranid brothers against the evil of the Imperium? The very thought puts tears in my eyes. So yes, we're gonna name our Genestealers and it's gonna be glorious. Now, while naming our Genestealers, we're gonna follow 3 simple rules. First of all, we're not gonna repeat names. This one should be pretty obvious. Like, the point of naming your models is to give them a bit of individuality. So if you're gonna give them all the same name, it's kind of defeating the purpose. Like, in my country, there are a ton of people my age named Jeremy, and so like back in school someone would go, "Hey Jeremy," and like 6 people will turn around, and on some level you know that they're all individuals with their own personality and story, but deep down you're secretly wondering, do you guys even have souls? And you kind of leave that situation feeling a bit uncomfortable. So yes, obviously I don't want that for my army. The second rule we're gonna follow is that we want to keep our names recognizable. Now, the main reason for this is if your opponent recognizes the name that you give your model, he's more likely to talk to you about it and remember it. So for example, I have a Termagant named Deadpool, and if my opponent sees it, then hey, maybe we'll start talking about how we both like the movie or something. On the other hand, if your model's name is something unrecognizable, like, I don't know, Jeffrey Stevenson Lee, your opponent's probably not gonna remember it and they're not gonna talk to you about it. And I'm not sure if this happens to everybody, but I find that when I play Warhammer and there's nothing else to talk about, the subject invariably turns to Space Marine lore. And before you know it, your opponent is telling you about how his chapter master bitch slapped the grandmother of an Iron Fist chapter master, which has led to 1,000 years of unending war between the 2 chapters. And at that point, you start wondering, is Warhammer really the hobby for me? So yes, we're gonna keep our names recognizable. And the final rule we're gonna follow is that all the names are going to follow a single theme. So I already have 16 existing Genestealers that have been named according to a single theme, and that theme is well-known warriors and or fighters. Why this theme, you may ask? Well, first of all, Genestealers are all about close combat, but more importantly, a lot of these warrior or fighter characters tend to be very noble and serious characters, and I kind of enjoy the idea of them sneaking around as these 4-armed creepy Tyranids. But anyway, the names of the existing Genestealers I already have are, in alphabetical order, Aragorn, Darth Maul, Darth Vader, Gimli, Ip Man, Jaime Lannister, Jet Li, Jon Snow, Mace Windu, Moomin Rider, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, Saitama, Zorro, Cthulhu, which yes, does not follow the theme, but just look at this guy, he's definitely a Cthulhu. And I have one last Genestealer, and his name is John C. So yes, those are my 16 current Genestealers, and what lovely names they have. And I knew that if I wanted to make the next 16 names just as lovely, I'd have to really rack my brain, but I also asked for some suggestions from the people in my Discord server. And by the way, if you want to get access to my Discord server, please check out my Patreon at patreon.com/TrevorGoesMeep. Alright, so let's name those 16 new Genestealers. So the first name I've picked is Asajj Ventress. So I've always been a Star Wars fan, and back in 2003 when I was a kid, this amazing animated series Clone Wars came out. Yeah, the original one, not the new one. And basically one of the most amazing, awesome, standout characters from the show was this dark side assassin, Asajj Ventress. I really liked her like 2 lightsabers that she could combine into a single double-bladed lightsaber. And she was also really rocking like the skinhead look, which is great because there is genetic hair loss in my family. So yes, what an inspirational bald icon. And so our first Genestealer is gonna be called Asajj Ventress. Next up we have Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. So like many Game of Thrones fans, I have a love-hate relationship with the series. What I love about it is almost everything. What I hate about it is basically like the last season. What a waste taste of a good show. But anyway, Brienne of Tarth was this kick-ass giant lady just beating the shit out of people and being awesome in general. And she totally beat Jaime Lannister, no matter what he says. I really liked that she was a very like straightforward character. You always knew what her motivations were, and she wasn't trying to backstab anyone, she was trying to punch them in the face. So yes, what better name for one of my Genestealers than Brienne of Tarth? Next up, we have Cloud from Final Fantasy. So disclaimer, I've never actually played the original RPG that has Cloud in it. My main knowledge of Cloud comes from the movie Advent Children, which I watched as a kid. Now, my opinions on Cloud are a bit 50-50. On the one hand, I do think that he's a moody little bitch, but on the other hand, I think his sword is really cool. Like, you know, the Buster sword, which is basically like a Swiss Army knife, but a sword. There were a whole bunch of scenes in that movie where Cloud was like getting ready for battle, so he would take like random attachments off the sword and add new attachments on. And low-key, I had no clue what any of those attachments did, but man, did they look cool. And you know what? That's cool enough for me to name one of my Genestealers Cloud. Next up, we have Darth Bane. So for those of you not as well versed in Star Wars lore, Darth Bane is basically like the OG Sith Lord. He was the one that reshaped the Sith Order so that there were only ever 2 Sith. One master and one apprentice. Yeah, Star Wars nerd stuff, I know. But anywho, I really like Darth Bane. I read the 3 Darth Bane novels written by Drew Carpenter, and holy shit, I loved those books. It was just so nice to read something written from the point of view of like a Sith Lord instead of like the normal Jedi who are all like, peace, calm. There is no emotion. And yeah, Darth Bane was this epic, ruthless Sith Lord killing people left and right. So cool. So yeah, Darth Bane. Our next Genestealer is gonna be called Drax. Like many of you, I'm sure, I was surprised at how good the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie was. And in my opinion, a large part of what made the movie so good was Drax. He had so many stellar lines, and even like the second movie, which I didn't think was as good, I felt Drax had some amazing moments that really saved it for me. I think one of my favorite parts was like when Mantis got hit by this falling rock in the final fight scene. Drax has this delayed reaction moment, so like a full 2 seconds after Mantis gets hit, he goes, "Mantis, look out!" And she's just f***ing lying on the floor unconscious. Beautiful. And of course, his epic line in Infinity War, "Why is Gamora?" What a masterpiece of a line. So yes, we're gonna be naming this Genestealer Drax. And speaking of why is Gamora, our next Genestealer is gonna be called Gamora. So Gamora is basically like the Hermione Granger of Guardians of the Galaxy. In the group of complete idiots that are supposed to be your main characters, she's the only one who you feel is really competent and has an idea of what's actually going on. Also, she's a kick-ass fighter, and yeah, pretty cool. So I'm gonna name this Genestealer Gamora. Next up, we have Geralt of Rivia. So I'm one of those assholes who's never played The Witcher 1 or 2, but I played The Witcher 3 and it was awesome. I really love how much Geralt just doesn't give a shit in the game, and the voice actor for him has this awesome deep manly voice. It's so good. And also in the live action series, he's played by Henry Cavill, who, as most of you know, is the current darling of the Warhammer community. So I figure you can't really go wrong by naming one of your Genestealers Geralt. Next up, we have Jackie Chan. This was actually a suggestion by Kara in my Discord server, and I am so glad that she suggested it. You know, growing up in Asia, Jackie Chan has always been a huge, massive icon. His fight sequences are always so exciting, and dare I say it, funny. Also, seeing him up there in big movies like Rush Hour or like The Tuxedo was like a huge inspiration. And this is a bit of a strange one, but he also like donated some historical buildings from China to my university. I'm not exactly sure why, but they look kind of cool, I guess. And yeah, Jackie Chan's a nice guy. So yes, this Genestealer is gonna be called Jackie Chan. Alright, our next Genestealer is gonna be Khal Drogo. Now, Khal Drogo might just be my favorite role that I've seen Jason Momoa in, and I hate to say it, but it might be because he doesn't talk much. Like, the man looks like an actual Greek god, but like once he opens his mouth, I'm not sure. When he played Khal Drogo, however, he was at his finest. Brooding, grunting, punching people in the face, all things that I feel Jason Momoa excels at. And overall, Khal Drogo, pretty badass character, so I don't feel too bad naming a Genestealer after him. Alright, so our next Genestealer is gonna be be called King from Tekken. So I'm gonna admit to you that I have never played Tekken, and until a few days back, I had never even heard of King. But when I asked for suggestions in my Discord server, Brendan sent over a picture of him, and I knew from that instant that I had to have him as one of my Genestealers. I mean, just look at this guy. First of all, he's got a jaguar head, which I feel is very fashionable. He's ripped as hell, and he's got sexy yellow underwear that has his name embroidered on it. And apparently, he's a Catholic priest who joins fighting tournaments to get the funds to build orphanages for people, which is fantastic. Makes you wonder why more Catholic priests don't dress like this. But yes, I will play Tekken someday, but in the meantime, I'm gonna name this Genestealer King. Next up, we have Lin Beifong from The Legend of Korra. And before I get into this, all you Legend of Korra haters can go to hell. Sure, I will freely admit that it is not as good a show as Avatar: The Last Airbender. But you know what? I still enjoyed it. It's like more gritty and realistic. And yeah, maybe Korra's a little annoying at times, but there are some absolute badasses in the show, like Lin Beifong. She's basically like an old lady, but she's the police chief. Like, if you're a criminal in The Legend of Korra, then I feel bad for you, because Lin Beifong is coming after you and she's gonna beat your ass. What an absolute fucking awesome character. Lin Beifong is gonna be one of my Genestealers. Moving on, we have Machamp. So Machamp was actually my favorite Pokemon when I was a kid. Like, if any of you played like the Pokemon trading card game, I had like the holo foil Machamp and it was awesome. As I've grown older, Machamp has kind of fallen out of favor with me, but you know what? He is a buff fighting Pokemon, and he has 4 arms, which is the same number as the Genestealers. So I feel naming a Genestealer Machamp is extremely appropriate. Moving on, we have Mulan. So I'm gonna say it, Mulan is one of my favorite Disney movies. And you know, in some Disney movies, I tend to find the main character just really irritating and unbearable, but I never felt that way about Mulan. She was strong, resourceful, smart, and she didn't do dumb shit. I also really enjoyed the music in that movie, particularly the classic "I'll Make a Man Out of You." This guy's got him scared to death. Hope he doesn't see right through me. Nah, I really wish that I'd learned how to swim. So yeah, I think Mulan was a fantastic character, and I'd be very happy to name one of my Genestealers after her. Next up, we have Eddard Stark, otherwise known as Ned Stark. Yes, the source of multiple memes and the old tired version of Boromir. I really did like Ned Stark. He was so loyal and honorable. And shit, I was really sad when he died. Also, I really like the flashback scene where they go back to the part where he was about to fight Sir Arthur Dane, and Arthur Dane was all like, "I wish you good fortune in the wars to come. And now it begins." And then fucking Ned Stark with his crazy northerner accent is all like, "No, now it ends." Oh, but yes, Ned Stark was one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones, and I'm gonna name one of my Genestealers after him. Up next, we have Silver Fang from One Punch Man. So I don't actually watch a lot of anime, but I really like One Punch Man. I think it's hilarious. And one of the great characters on the show is this old martial arts master, Silver Fang. What's nice about Silver Fang is like he's not a complete dick unlike some of the other heroes. And also he's aware of how fucking OP Saitama is. And so, you know, he takes him kind of more seriously than everybody else, which is very nice because I love Saitama. Silver Fang is also really awesome. I love the idea that he's this fucking buff old man. Like, when I get to that age, that's what I want to look like. So yes, Silver Fang. And last but certainly not least, we have Tank Top Master. So yes, this is another One Punch Man character. Basically, his whole shtick is that he's this really ripped guy in a tank top, and he has a whole bunch of dudes following him, the Tank Top Army, and they all believe that wearing a tank top grants you basically like superpowers. Like, apparently he goes around telling people that he has superhuman speed and reflexes because the tank top gives him more freedom of movement. It is the funniest, most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. And so, as a great homage to this character, I would love to name one of my Genestealers Tank Top Master. And there you go, we've named our 16 Genestealers. So yes, don't worry, I will be putting them into an anime intro for your viewing pleasure. But before that, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. And also thank you to the people in my Discord server for helping me out with some of the names for these Genestealers. And if you'd like to come hang out with us on Discord, you can get access to my server by supporting me on Patreon. The link is patreon.com/TrevorGoesMeep. Alright, and here you go, the anime intro for my 16 new Genestealers. mine.